General Hospital teasers indicate that a preview clip has been released for Tuesday, July 15, 2025. It depicts Marco Rios being held hostage. Sonny Corinthos has the upper hand over Jen Sidwell. Plus, Sasha Gilmore Corbin contacts Nina Reeves. Marco Rios missing. Let us begin with Marco, who has gone missing. Lucas Jones will freak out, and for good reason. Lucas confronts Jason Morgan and gives him a warning. The doctor informs Jason that if anything occurs, Marco's blood will be on his hands. Later in the trailer we see Marco seated on a chair, his hands bound behind his back. Marco cries for them to let him out. Marco's departure will give Sonny the upper hand against Sidwell. Sonny opens the door while Sidwell waits at the chapel for Marco to say his final goodbyes to Natalia Ramirez. Sonny states that Marco is not coming. If Sidwell wants his son out of danger, he must negotiate a deal with the mob lord. However, once Marco is out of imminent danger, Sidwell will strike back. In the preview clip for Tuesday, July 15th, Sonny exclaims that Sidwell got Marco into this problem, and now he needs to get him out. Drew Kane vs. Carly Spencer. General Hospital spoilers for today's episode indicate that Drew Kane will give a warning to Carly Spencer. The congressman warns that if Michael Corinthos continues to refuse to compromise with Willow Tate, he will face agony. Later, Michael pays Willow a visit at the hospital. Willow is shocked at what Michael has done. The nurse asks him what he's done. Could Michael have reported Willow approaching Wiley Corinthos in the pool? On Tuesday, July 15, 2025, fans will witness Sasha seek out Nina. Could she be prepared to say goodbye? Perhaps Sasha will inform Nina that Willow is getting more unglued than ever. Sasha may also explain why she is leaving, which is because someone is targeting Daisy Gilmore Corinthos. Could Nina understand Willow is gaslighting Sasha? Tracy Quartermaine also has a proposition for an unseen character. Which narrative are you most looking forward to witnessing on Tuesday, July 15, 2025? Jason receives a warning. You may even argue that it poses a minor threat. And it is from Lulu Spencer. She is not satisfied. Jason has been speaking with Rocco Falceroni about Britt Westbourne. And Lulu is furious that Jason said wonderful things to Rocco about the woman who stole her embryo and grew her kid in her stomach. So he's been warned, but you know Rocco will approach him again. Emma Scorpio Drake also comes clean. I believe she will inform Gio Palmieri that she stole Vaughn's master key to gain access to Hank Dalton's lab. Willow Tate informs Dr. Isaiah Gannon that Michael Corinthos motivated her to do what she did. Not the Sasha Gilmore situation. It's more likely about her breakdown. Anna Devane requests a fast background check on Vaughn. And Anna informs Felicia Scorpio about some of her concerns. Emma's adorable stray dog nibbles Anna's costly heels. So she's upset with her granddaughter. General Hospital 2-week spoilers July 14th to 25th. Nina panics, and Jason Alexis Davis defends Sonny Corinthos. She's speaking with Marco Rios, and Alexis says it's highly unlikely that Sonny killed Natalia Rogers Ramirez. Marco doesn't understand why Alexis believes Sonny wasn't involved in Natalia's killing, when his mother was making a deal with D.A. Turner to testify against him. Marco doesn't understand Sonny's naive faith, especially since she is a known killer. I don't either. Lucy Coe speaks with Sidwell, who still doubts that Natalia's overdose was unintentional. Carly Corinthos Spencer is distraught during a small family meeting with Sonny and Michael, and he may be informing her that Sasha is considering leaving town with Daisy. Carly is quite worried and wants to know whether Michael believes someone is after baby Daisy because of Sonny. And Michael may be thinking that all of the kids are safer elsewhere. Things go wrong during Natalia's memorial, and if Sonny comes up, Marco and Sidwell will not be pleased. Jack Brennan meets with Jocelyn Jax and Vaughn to discuss her purpose, and he wants to ensure that Jocelyn is completely committed. Tuesday's twists. Sasha's departure and Willow's woes. On Tuesday, July 15th, Sasha goes to see Nina, most likely to inform her that she is leaving Port Charles, but I'm also wondering whether she will be harsh with her over revealing her one-night affair with Michael. Willow receives some bad news, which could be from the court about the visitation schedule or Michael's plans to leave. Drew Kane Quartermaine gives somebody a warning. And it may be Willow or one of his foes. He's got so many. Sonny puts one over on Sidwell, and I hope he doesn't harm or steal Marco. Lucas Jones panics, therefore I'm wondering if Marco is in danger. Remember how he begged Carly to go talk to Sonny, which she did, but he was really resistant. Wednesday's conflicts. Curtis' dilemma and Jason's tough talk on Wednesday, July 16th. Curtis Ashford tries to avoid answering his Aunt Stella Henry's inquiries. She's probably just looking for an update on how he and Portia Robinson are doing. And while Curtis definitely doesn't want to lie to Stella, we all know things aren't going well for him and Portia. He despises what Drew has done to their marriage. However, Portia did open the door to that. Drew locks in his major plan, which I'm sure is to help Willow get custody, get married to her, control his adversaries, and get Sonny off the docks. He's got so many irons in the fire that he could be a blacksmith. So Jason has a difficult conversation with someone, and it could be Rocco, who may return to him with additional concerns concerning Britt. He may have questions regarding Liesl Albrecht, as Rocco emailed her. But if it's Rocco, Jason will have to tell him, "You know, I can't talk to you about that." And Rocco would quickly realize it's Lulu's work, and he may become very angry at his mother. Trina Robinson and Jocelyn have a lengthy conversation about the men in their lives, and I'm sure Trina will tell her she dumped Kai for disloyalty, while Jocelyn may be discussing Vaughn, which is risky terrain given her spy job. Michael considers a major decision. This may be whether he's going to be upset about Sasha leaving with Daisy, or whether he thinks, okay, maybe me, Wiley, and Amelia should go with Sasha and Daisy. Thursday's discoveries. Anna's findings and Sonny's unselfishness on Thursday, July 17th. Anna finds what she's looking for and appears to be getting answers concerning that background check she did on Vaughn as soon as possible. Jocelyn takes action, maybe in response to the new WSB Dalton plot. It may have anything to do with what Anna discovered. She was already helping Vaughn with the Emma and Anna situation. Sonny is asked to be selfless. We will see. Dante Falconeri and Lulu dispute on something. It could be about Rocco, but I think it's more about Brooklyn Quartermain, whom she despises and believes is completely wrong. Lulu doesn't think she did anything wrong because she was simply expressing the truth, and she believes her situation with her kid is entirely justified. Fans are extremely divided, but honestly I see 65 to 70% on Team BLQ and 30 to 40 on Team Lulu. Many people dislike the way they've been writing about Lulu since she awoke from her coma. To be fair, folks who come out of comas behave differently. This is an entirely new version of her. Nina accepts responsibility for her past misdeeds. So Drew may return and punish Nina for her involvement in the ketamine incident, forcing her to do his bidding. Friday's encounters. Willow's plea and Jason's surprise on July 18th. Michael, Sasha, and baby Daisy run into Willow at General Hospital. And if he intends to take the kids and leave Port Chuck, Willow's pleas on Friday could be the trigger. Anna interrogates Carly, and it could be about Jocelyn dating Vaughn, his age, and what she uncovered during the background check. Dante notices something that knocks him off guard. Jason is stunned on Friday, and Portia stands firm. Willow's spiral and Sasha's exit the week of July 21st through the 25th. I believe we will see Willow spiral even farther. But if Michael is thinking about leaving with Sasha, Willow caused it by tampering with Sasha and the baby. Portia may fight nasty. Sonny makes a decision. Nina is struggling. Of course, she is under Drew's control, and she does not want to alienate Willow, so she may be obliged to do what Drew requests once more. Sasha seemed to be ready to pack and leave. Sophia Matson's contract has apparently not been renewed, so let's see if she actually takes the baby and leaves. We should see Liesl meet with Rocco soon. He sent her an email last week and there would be more action in week 1. In week 2 they might finally get together. I am sure Liesl will be overjoyed to hear from her fictitious ex-grandson Rocco/Ben. Marco becomes increasingly enraged as he learns that his mother Natalia has not received justice. Drew's demands rise, Carly becomes suspicious, and I wonder if it's about Jack, Vaughn, and Jocelyn. Marco's disappearance sends shockwaves through Port Charles, disturbing everyone who thought they knew how extensive Sonny's network was. In truth, Sonny Corinthos has always maintained a level of control that kept people guessing, but this latest twist may have surprised even him. When word spreads that Marco has gone missing, those closest to the mafia react quickest. Jason Morgan quietly begins following Marco's last known steps, but not on Sonny's orders. Jason has been doing his own calculations, and the results do not add up. Meanwhile, Sonny enters the commotion with purpose. He appears to be calm. He tells Brick that everything is under control. But behind closed doors, he's already in high-level discussions with a few of his international contacts. Marco was more than just a soldier in Sunny's organization. He was a vital point of contact for a number of activities that Sunny could not afford to overlook. Now that Marco is no longer on the map, Sunny must decide whether this is a rival's maneuver or something much deeper. And as his instincts sharpen, he realizes that this disappearance might actually be an opportunity. The authorities are also aware of Marco's disappearance, but not everyone is eager to make it a top priority. Jordan Ashford gently questions Dante about Sunny's involvement and whether there is a turf war forming in Port Charles's underbelly. Dante tries to maintain a professional demeanor, but something in his tone, a hesitancy, causes Jordan pause. Dante knows more than he admits, but loyalty to family has always taken precedence over duty for him. Jordan, as astute as ever, notes that he will keep a watch on Sunny's next move. She isn't the only one watching. Carly also notices changes in the air. She doesn't ask many questions, but when she overhears a tense discussion between Sunny and Jason at the Metro Court, she becomes concerned that whatever is going on could escalate into something greater. Carly has seen Sunny deal with crises before, but this one seems colder, more deliberate. Marco was more than simply muscle. He had ties to Sasha Gilmore. That is what starts to unravel the second act of this complicated affair. Sasha has been attempting to restore her life gradually, one step at a time. Her bond to Marco was not something she emphasized, especially after everything she had been through. But when she learns he's gone, the late-night phone calls, text messages, and lingering memories of a guy who saw her at her most shattered come flooding back. The shock is not purely emotional. It brings back old habits and concerns. But Sasha does not crumble. Instead, she begins reliving her recollections, attempting to piece together what Marco was doing in the days leading up to his abduction. And what she discovers begins to question her belief in the story she has been fed about Sunny. Marco had been in regular contact with Sasha. He had kept her informed not only for her own safety, but also out of a profound sense of loyalty. Sasha had told him several times that she was concerned that Sunny's empire was becoming increasingly unstable. Marco, for his part, confirmed that factions were growing within the group, doubting Sunny's judgment. It's unclear whether Marco was one of those dissenters, but Sasha suspects he was playing both sides. And this makes his disappearance all the more terrifying. Sunny does not dispute that Marco was restless. In reality, he employs that information to influence the perceptions of others. When Curtis approaches him with concerns about what's going on in the streets, Sunny portrays Marco as a liability, someone who may have been working too many angles. Curtis is unsure whether Sunny is bluffing or setting the stage for a major takedown. In any case, Sunny appears to be recovering control of the narrative. He knows how to use terror as power, and Marco's disappearance serves as proof that disloyalty is not tolerated in his world. What's most startling is Sunny's systematic approach to cleaning up the mess. He requests favors, freezes specific accounts, and begins to remove himself from known colleagues who may have been working with Marco. It's a rapid and quiet purging that conveys a clear message. Sunny may have lost a man, but he will not lose the war. At least, that's what he wants others to believe. Behind the scenes, however, Sunny is significantly more unsettled than he admits. This is not simply business, it is personal. Michael Corinthos, who had been trying to stay out of his father's sphere, is reluctantly lured back in. When he hears Sasha's name used in conjunction with Marco, everything inside him changes. His protective instincts kick in, and he begins asking questions, which swiftly land him on Sunny's radar. Sunny warns Michael not to go too deep, but Michael isn't the type of man to back down when the people he loves about are in danger. His concern for Sasha evolves into something more, a desire to learn what part Marco truly played in all of this. And if Sasha is still in danger, as the investigation progresses, Jason becomes more conflicted. He is devoted to Sunny, but the more he investigates, the more he suspects Marco's disappearance was organized from within. Jason lacks evidence, but he's been Sunny's enforcer long enough to recognize a cleanup operation when he sees it. The way things are falling into place, the lack of evidence, the silencing of particular voices feels overly neat. And this makes Jason suspicious. He does not face Sunny yet, but he begins maintaining records, discreetly preparing for a confrontation that he hopes would not occur. Meanwhile, Sasha's relationship to Marco emerges unexpectedly. A safety deposit box comes in her name, containing a flash drive and a note addressed to her in Marco's handwriting. The contents of the device are encrypted, but the letter makes it plain that Marco was aware he was being observed. He didn't trust Sunny anymore. He wanted to leave, and Sasha could be the only one who can finish what he started. That leaves her reeling, torn between fear and an odd sense of duty. Whatever Marco was up to was not just criminal, but also personal. And now it's also Sasha's problem. The ripple effects continue to expand. Ava Jerome, who has her own motives for keeping tabs on Sunny, becomes interested in the Marco scenario. She recognizes a power vacuum and begins to build the groundwork for a shift in alliances. Ava is no fool. She isn't going to make a move just yet, but she begins reaching out to old acquaintances, floating the possibility that Sunny may no longer be untouchable. In a world like Port Charles, perception means everything. Trina Robinson, witnessing all of this from the outside, notices a darker version of Port Charles emerge. With Curtis torn between his new duty and his previous loyalties, and Ava sniffing around for power, Trina sees the cost of corruption creeping into every corner. She asks Spencer if he believes all of this will ever end, and if people like Sunny will ever genuinely face consequences. Spencer does not have an answer. He simply understands that the world in which they live is too intricate for simple resolutions. By July 18th, the city feels heavier and more tense. Marco's absence casts a shadow on everyone. Sunny may have the upper hand, at least for the time being, but it is a tenuous hold. Sasha's decision to open the information on Marco's flash drive leads her down a path she may never be able to return from. Jason's developing doubts threaten to undermine his allegiance to Sunny. Michael's concern for Sasha may renew his conflict with his father. Dante's quiet gets increasingly onerous with each passing hour. In the end, the truth regarding Marco's abduction may not depend on who had the power, but on who had the courage to use it differently. And as Sasha finally watches the decrypted film Marco left behind, she realizes how deep the betrayal goes, and how far she'll have to go to keep it from engulfing what's left of the people she still cares about. According to General Hospital spoilers, the drama in Port Charles has reached new heights as Willow Corinthos forms a sinister alliance with Drew Quartermain, raising concerns that she is on a vengeful rampage. Willow's fury, driven by Michael Corinthos' new family with Sasha Gilmore Corbin and baby Daisy, has drawn her closer to Drew, whose own plans make them a volatile pair. With whispers of Willow's involvement in Daisy's kidnapping on July 4th, is her collaboration with Drew propelling her down a revenge-fueled path? Or will it backfire? Willow's vengeance takes a dark turn. Willow's anguish over losing her children, exacerbated by Drew's lies and scheming, has turned into a desire for retribution. Her love with Drew appears to fuel her darker inclinations, as viewers now know she planned Daisy's crib disappearance to harm Michael and Sasha. Drew's machinations pique her interest, but is Willow simply under his spell or a willing participant? If her rampage continues, possibly with another daring act, will it destroy Michael or disintegrate when Jason Morgan intervenes? Drew's grip on Willow, vowing to help her regain visitation, covers his own goal, as his affair with Nina Reeves remains covert. Willow's sinister partnership, which may be plotting against Michael, could lead to harsh measures such as framing Sasha for instability. If Jason discovers their plans, Willow's friendship with his twin brother may suffer. Will Drew's influence push her farther into vengeance, or will she recognize his grip before it's too late? General Hospital spoilers. Rampage or ruinous fall? If Willow's involvement in Daisy's kidnapping is revealed, the consequences could jeopardize her hopes for visitation with her children. Furthermore, it is possible that she will be imprisoned or subjected to a sting in Ferncliff or Shady Brook. Of course, Michael would be shocked, and he could be inclined to sympathize with her and suggest that she has had a mental breakdown rather than transformed into an unrecognizable version of herself who wishes to kill others. Sure, her own twin, Nellie Benson Jerome, may have been insane, but Willow has always been rather level-headed, while being easily influenced. It appears that old habits die hard. Will Willow's dark partnership with Drew spark a violent fury against Michael and Sasha? Or will it backfire, leaving her broken and alone? Keep checking back with us for more General Hospital news and spoilers. Liesl Albrecht will be returning to Port Charles soon, according to General Hospital. She will not be pleased to learn that her niece Nina Reeves is under Drew Kane Quartermain's control. Will these two scheme against Congressman Cutthroat? We'll talk about how Liesl could assist Nina knock Drew down for good and get him away from Willow Tate. So we're not sure when Liesl will be back, but it should be July. So only a few weeks remain in the month. We do know that Britt Westbourne is returning to the scene this week. She appeared in this week's commercial when Jason Morgan brings Sasha Gilmore and baby Daisy to the airport. He's scheduled to accompany them to finalize the arrangements. Jason is surprised to encounter someone who looks exactly like Britt. So I'm wondering if he'll still board the plane or if he'll tell Sasha, "I'll meet you there later." We've heard whispers that Kelly Thibault isn't portraying Britt or a clone, but she is certainly a doppelganger of some sort, because Jason's head spun around when he spotted her. And this would not have happened if they had simply pretended she was someone new. So, Britt's darling mutter, Liesl, is also returning shortly, with major scenes with Rocco Falseroni, and I'm sure the rest of the family will follow. General Hospital. Are Nina and Liesl Obrecht plotting against Drew? Soap Dirt General Hospital. Rocco meets Liesl. Young actor Finn Francis Carr said he enjoyed working with her, and he said that Rocco dresses to impress when he meets with Liesl. He's dressed in a button-up shirt and says he combs his curly hair to keep it under control. It sounds very lovely. I cannot wait to watch it. But I anticipate that after speaking with Rocco, Liesl will check in with other family members, and Nina and her daughter Willow will be on Dr. O's must-see list when she returns to Port Charles. Rocco recently emailed Liesl, and that will bring her back to town. And if you recall, Rocco spent the first year of his life as Britt's son, Ben Westbourne. He was Liesl's fake grandson, but she still adored Rocco. So, I'm sure Liesl will be pleased to return to Port Charles and tell Rocco anything he wants to know about her daughter Britt. Nina's situation and Liesl's possible intervention against Drew. Aside from seeing Rocco, Liesl will undoubtedly be overjoyed to meet her niece Nina. She can't see Maxie Jones until they use a replacement actress, because Kirsten Storms is out, as we have reported. But I doubt Liesl will be pleased with the current status of her niece and great-niece Willow's lives. Of course, Nina will be overjoyed to have her Aunt Liesl back. She loves her. However, Nina does not currently have a large support network, and even fewer that she can truly explain what she's done and the circumstances she's put herself in as a result of her actions. But she can completely open up to Liesl. Drew makes more threats, so this week, I expect Drew to make more threats against Nina, because he knows she collaborated with Portia Robinson on the ketamine scheme. Drew has been blackmailing and dominating Nina for a long time, and she can't escape his threats. And Nina is constantly afraid she may lose Willow because of Drew. So having Liesl back may be a great comfort to Nina, because she will have Liesl's support and someone to talk to about her experiences with Drew. On top of that, we all know how ruthless Liesl is, and I don't believe she'll be pleased to learn Drew is blackmailing her niece and making her life miserable. Nina may convince Dr. O that Drew is a nasty rat bastard, and that they need to get Willow away from him. Despite her great experience with the ex-Navy SEAL, I have serious doubts that Liesl will support Drew. Liesl is very protective of her family. Drew currently has control over Willow, and by extension Nina, and he is interfering with her peace of mind. He has ruined Willow's life, because he is fixated on her. That is the bottom line.